Weekdays, 6 to 9 a.m. This is Power Breakfast on Power 98.7.
My two guests now, Mahlengi Bengumtsiri is ANC National Spokesperson, and we also have Thabiso Tema, Senior Research Fellow and Director at Africa-Asia Dialogues. Let me start with you, Mahlengi. Donald Trump, the U.S. President, has said the things that he said about South Africa once again for the entire world to see, and he says he's not coming to South Africa for the G20. No official, U.S. official will be attending. How is the ANC receiving this?
We have issued a statement, good morning, to listeners. We've issued a very strong statement this weekend, frowning upon the utterances by the U.S. President Donald Trump, which gives a clear indication of the fact that he is siding with those who yearn for a going back to the days of imperialism, to the days of colonialism, and also evidence by his support of the right-wing groupings in our country, and that led to the false claim that there's white genocide in South Africa, a narrative that has failed to gain ground. Probably it's Donald Trump alone now who still believes that, because the Africa Forum itself, as I got that indication last night in an interview with another media outlet, that they've said they never spoke about the white genocide. So clearly, that narrative has failed, like many other narratives that are trying to suggest that South Africa is a failed state.
Okay. And what would be your advice to the president right now, faced with this situation?
Well, it's very clear that the world is coming to South Africa, and it's coming to South Africa not because of anything, but because there is faith in the constitutional democracy and the governance architecture of South Africa. That despite the electoral outcomes in 2024, there was magnanimity where parties led by the ANC drafted a statement of intent, invited all parties to participate. Those that chose to abstain, but the government of national unity is not at work. It's not an ANC instrument, but it was in the interest of securing stability and continuation of the work of government. And so the G20 movement is not going to be diminished by the absence of the U.S. And of course, pity for them, because after that they assume the chairship of the G20, and they've already made a very clear statement that South Africa should not even be part of the G20. But we will obviously keep a watchful brief on that.
Very interesting. Mahlengi Bengumtsiri, thank you very much. ANC National Spokesperson Thabiso Tema, what do you make of all this? The relay continues. The baton passes on to the U.S., but Trump says no U.S. official will be there to receive the baton. But the utterances and those who were campaigning for this now, some of them we hear are saying, as we had heard, that they were very instrumental in making these statements, are saying we are not party to it.
Well, I take whatever Donald Trump says with a pinch of salt. Obviously, the Americans are going to be here. I don't even think he understands how G20 works. There's something called TRIOCA, which is the three parties that are involved in the planning and the secretariat of the G20, and they include the past, present, and future chairpersonship or secretariat of G20. United States has been part of that with Brazil, South Africa, and the United States, because Brazil was the past, South Africa is the present, and United States will be the future. And South Africa will be working with, again, United States and whoever else is United States, South Africa, and whoever else is going to be coming in future. So this is the process on how the G20 works. And Donald Trump clearly doesn't understand how this works. And I think this should be laughed off, shrugged off, and I don't think should be taken serious. If we have observed all organizations, media organizations, countries that have reported on this, they're basically laughing it off. And we seem to be the only ones really taking this very serious. We shouldn't be taking it serious because you'll see when the dust settles, there are reports to that. There will be reports to that Americans indeed did attend because there's absolutely no ways that they won't attend.
What does this do, though, to the brand G20 beyond South Africa?
G20 is a talk shop. G20 is prestige. It means nothing, and nothing is going to change in South Africa. This is just a talk shop prestige to this country, which has been for a very long time the only African country within G20 before the African Union as a bloc was accepted. So, again, for me, it's a talk shop, and it just will add on President Cyril Ramaphosa's achievement and his tenure as a presidency. But if you really look at it, it means really nothing. Except that you get all of these important people come to the country.
Do you think he'll campaign for South Africa's removal from the G20?
He can't, because South Africa is a founding member and there are no justification or reasons for South Africa to be expelled. There is no genocide taking place in this country, and he knows that, of course. And there is no persecution and confiscation illegally of the Afrikaner land. So there's no evidence that that's happening. And the members of G20 are very aware of it. In fact, they laugh it up every day. I've met some of the leaders of other countries who are part of the G20 who are laughing it off. And South Africa, of course, it's symbolic and it's an important player within the G20, being, as I've said, the only African country there. So there is no, even if it does campaign, it's not going to happen.
Thabiso Tema, thank you very much. Senior Research Fellow and Director at Africa-Asia Dialogues. It's just after 8 o'clock. Time for Power News. As we say once again, good morning to Nyakallo Tefu.